Once you're done, tell me. We'll discuss the question. Switch on your videos. Switch on your videos, students. Shakrika Abdullah, switch on your videos. Abdullah, are you able to hear me? Yes, good. Yes, now you people start solving these questions. And apart from these questions, students, is there any particular topic that you'd like me to discuss with you? So I can do that also. Okay, so once you're done doing the questions, we can do some topic discussion. Like, you people are clear with mitosis and meiosis? What it means, which kind of division it is, and everything about it? So if there's any topic you people would like me to teach you again, then please tell me, okay?
Oh, Mama, I have done.
Yes.
Mama, it's from the second chapter, tissues. And we're only having till plant tissues. And I have a doubt in the xylem and phloem.
Xylem and phloem part.
Yes, ma'am.
You do this
Just
question, we'll move on to that. Yeah, you want me to revise that once more? The xylem and phloem part.
thank you, ma'am. Can you scroll a bit?
Question 17 is done. Abdullah, you've also done question 17. Tanisha, switch on your video. Abdullah, keep your video on. Switch on your video, students.
Ma'am, I can't do that. I'm not at home. So can I keep it off?
In the previous class also you didn't switch on your video, Tanisha. So, like, be at home during the classes time, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Done, students? Question 18 is done.
Yes.
Okay, so now let us discuss the complex permanent tissue, that was the xylem and the phloem. All right, everyone switch on your videos. Come on quickly. How many times do I have to ask the same thing again and again and again? So in the case of plants, there are two types of tissues present. There is the meristematic tissue, and then there are the permanent tissue. Now, amongst the permanent tissues, you know that permanent tissues are the ones that do not have the capability, or they have lost the capability of dividing, because that is why they are called as permanent tissues. Now, amongst the permanent tissues, there are two types. One is simple permanent, and the other is complex permanent tissues. So when we talk about the simple permanent tissue, they are called so because they are made up of one type of cell. Then they have one common, like for example, all the cells, they look alike and they'll make a tissue. On the other hand, when you talk about a complex permanent tissue, so their cells are going to be made up of, like different kinds of cells are going to make up the tissue. So that is what we mean by complex permanent tissue. So these are the types of tissues which are made up of, different types and more than one kind of cells. And all of the different cells, they work in a coordinated manner. Even though every single cell is different from each other, but still they are going to work together to perform a common function, right? And that is what we mean by tissue in general. So the complex permanent tissues, they are of two types, xylem, and then there is the phloem. Now, xylem and phloem, they are called as the conducting tissues, or you can call them as the vascular tissues. Why so? Because they are responsible for conduction purposes. Conduction meaning that they will be responsible for transportation. Now, transportation of what all things? So, transportation of water, transportation of minerals, and lastly, transportation of food and hormones and everything. So that is what the xylem and phloem does. Now the xylem. The xylem is that complex tissue which is responsible for the conduction of water and minerals from the roots to the leaves or to the different parts of the plant. Now, since the xylem is a complex permanent tissue, so it is made up of different components. So, there are four basic components to the xylem. There is tracheids, there is vessels, there is xylem fibers, xylem parenchyma. Now, when we talk about the tracheids, so they are made up of elongated cells. Okay, they have long cells that are present. So basically, yeah, and they have long cells with tapering end. Tapering end means like fusiform, like they start and then they end at the tips. Like that kind of a cell is called as a tracheid. Now, tracheids, they are the living cells. What they do is that they provide a network of hollow and connected cells for the transportation of water molecule. That is what's done by the tracheids. After the tracheids, there comes the xylem vessels. Now, xylem vessels, these are the tube-like structures that have, you can say that, may or may not have the dead cells present. Not necessarily they are always dead, but yes, they can have dead cells present. What are the functions? They allow free flow of water and minerals from the roots to the leaf, meaning they help in forming a water column. They help in forming sort of like, just like how a straw does the work, same way that suction that will be provided by the xylem vessels. Then comes the xylem fibers. Now see, the word fibers comes from the dried up cells mostly. So these fibers, they are usually dead. Dead means that they do not have living structures present in them, but even so they are dead, it's not that they are useless to the plants. What do the xylem fibers do? They provide support They provide mechanical strength to the plants. That is what is done by the xylem fibers. After that, there comes the xylem parenchyma. Now, xylem parenchyma is a living component of the xylem tissue. Basically, this is the one, like that parenchyma, when we were talking about the simple permanent tissue, the parenchyma, they were responsible for storage, right? Storage of food substances, storage of basically things in the plant's body. So same way, the xylem parenchyma will also be responsible for storage purpose. It is a living component and it is responsible for storage. Then comes the phloem. Now, xylem part is done, which is the water conducting tissue. Now, for the long distance conduction of food molecules, we have phloem. And the transportation that is done via phloem or the transportation of food is known as translocation. So, talking about the phloem, it is the, you can say, complex permanent tissue that is basically responsible for the transportation of food. And remember that the xylem transportation is unidirectional. It happens only in one direction, that is from the roots to the leaves, nowhere else. Whereas when we talk about the phloem, so phloem is that connective tissue, or sorry, connective tissue, complex permanent tissue, which will be responsible for transportation in both the direction, from roots to leaves, from leaves to roots. So it is a bidirectional kind of transportation. Now you all know that the end product of photosynthesis is glucose. So that glucose is the food of the plant and it has to be, like circulated throughout the body of the plant. So that process is translocation and it is done by the phloem. Now translocation can also be called as phloem translocation. It can be also called as a bulk trans, meaning it's like a whole entire food substances is being transported to wherever it is required. And just like xylem, the phloem has 4 components present in it. What are the 4 components of phloem? There's seed tubes, there's companion cells, there's phloem fibers, and lastly, there's the phloem parenchyma. So seed tube cells, these are the tubular cells that have perforations in them. Perforation means tiny, tiny pores or tiny, tiny holes are going to be present, and they act like a sieving structure to drain out stuff. The sieve tubes do not have a nucleus, always remember. That is why they are always present alongside a companion cell. These are the small and elongated cells that have a very well defined nucleus. So they help the sieve tube cells. After that, there comes the phloem fibers. Now, phloem fibers, these are the elongated dead cells that have thick walls present. And obviously, since they are fibers, they'll be dead cells. They'll be the dead component of the phloem. Now, usually they are made up of sclerenchyma, which is, that has a lot of lignin and stuff in there, and they provide mechanical strength and support to the tissues. Lastly, coming on to the phloem parenchyma. So these again are the living component, which is responsible for the storage purpose, right? And the transportation of food. So xylem and phloem is clear.
Yes.
One very important thing that you people have to remember is that xylem transportation is always going to be unidirectional. Why? Because the water will always be absorbed from the soil, nowhere else. Whereas when we talk about the phloem transportation, it could be from top to bottom, bottom to top in either of the direction. So it's bidirectional in phloem and unidirectional in xylem. You have to remember this. It's very, very important. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any more doubts anyone has? All right. Now let's move on back to the question solving. So you people were done doing the 18th question. All right. Okay. 19th question. Just give me 1 second. Yes, students. Done. 18th question is done. Is my voice coming to you, students? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so here are the questions. I believe you people are done. What actually happens to the gram soaked by Muskan's mother? This part is done. Should I scroll down? Achha, focus on the assertion reason, students. This part is where you people get stuck on the most. So focus on the assertion reason part. Done, students. Shall I scroll down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do these questions. Until then, if anyone has any more topic that you people want me to discuss with you, you tell me that also, okay? Done, students? Done till here?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
let us discuss the answers. Now from question number 17. So did you people read this whole entire paragraph? The passage that's given, the case? All right, okay. So name any 5 cell organelles. What are the 5 cell organelles, students?
Nucleus,
Speak loudly.
nucleus,
Okay, nucleus, then
Ribosomes,
ribosomes, okay. Then what else?
mitochondria,
Mitochondria, correct. Then Abdullah, you also tell me any name of the cell organelle.
Golgi apparatus.
Golgi apparatus, very good. Okay, what is the jelly-like fluid substance present in the cell? What do you call them as?
cytoplasm,
Cytoplasm. Acha, who can tell me what is the significance of cytoplasm?
holds all the cell organelles in place.
Speak loudly, please.
It holds all the cell organelles in their place.
Yes, all the cell organelles are present in the cytoplasm only, and cytoplasm is also the arena of all the cellular activity. Clear? Okay. What is the name given to the functional segment of DNA? What is the functional segment of DNA called as?
cell,
No, functional segment of DNA. DNA is the part of a cell. What is the functional part of DNA?
Gene,
Gene, exactly. The functional unit of a DNA is gene. Okay. And what is the function of the genes? What does the gene do? Hmm? What does the gene do, students? What is this function? It basically has a very big role to play during the cell division, during the reproduction. Because that gene only gets inherited to the next generation, to the next cell. That is why we say that it is the functional unit of the DNA. All right. Any doubts in this question? Anything you people got stuck on upon? So I think the this part, the genes part. So always remember the functional unit of the DNA is the gene. Okay, now the next passage. Who discovered the nucleus in the cell? Who was the one who discovered nucleus, students? Who
Robert
discovered the nucleus? Robert?
Brown,
If Robert Brown discovered the nucleus, then what did Robert Hooke do?
the coxel,
Hmm?
the coxel,
He discovered the first ever cell. Very good. Which of the following is the primary component of the cell wall? Acha, what is the plant cell wall made up of?
cellulose,
Cellulose. And what other organisms have a cell wall? Apart from plants, which other organisms have a cell wall? Bacteria, fungus. What is the bacterial cell wall made up of, students? Hmm?
peptidoglycan,
What?
peptidoglycan,
Yes, peptidoglycan. And what is the fungal cell wall made up of? Chitin. The fungal cell wall is made up of chitin. Okay, so this was it. Now they are saying which of the following is the primary component of a cell wall. So what is your answer from this passage, students? No answer. Why aren't you people speaking? Hmm?
This
Acha, what is the significance of the term selectively permeable membrane? What is the meaning of that? Yes, anyone? What is the meaning of selectively permeable membrane? Students, if you weren't writing the answer, what were you doing then? Huh?
that
So which
membrane.
membrane is called as the selectively permeable membrane? Plasma membrane. And why is it called as the selectively permeable membrane? Because it has this capability, or it has the property to allow certain influxes and certain effluxes, meaning it can allow certain molecules to come inside the cell and exit out of the cell, right? That is why we call it as semi-permeable in nature. And that is the nature of the plasma membrane. All right. Okay, so basically this question is from the passage. So what actually happened to the gram soaked by Muskan's mother? Okay, what basically happens when you soak any seed in water overnight? What happens?
This will
They swell up. Why do they swell up? In which type of solution does a cell swell up?
Hypotonic?
Which one? Hyper or hypo?
Hypo.
Yes, hypotonic. Very good. Okay, which part of the gram seed will allow the water to enter the seed? Out of these? Huh?
Plasma membrane?
Plasma. Very good. Okay, which of the following cell organelle is called as the storage sac of the cell?
Vacuum.
Vacuole. Yes. Okay, assertion and reasoning. Okay, water can move inward as well outward through the plasma membrane depending upon the concentration of the solution. Plasma membrane is selectively permeable in nature. What is your answer, students? Which one? A or B? Or C or D? Which one?
A.
A. Why? Because yes, 100% the cell, like the water can move into and out of the cell. And why can it do so? It's because the plasma membrane is selectively permeable in nature. So both the statements are correct. And the reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. Very good. The largest cell organelle among the following is? Which
Plastic?
is the largest cell organelle? Out of all of these, plastids are the largest cell organelle. Very good. This question number 20 you people have done? The Golgi apparatus part?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. All right. Now you read this passage. Once you're done, tell me, then I'll scroll. Done? Shall I scroll down to the questions part?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, student?
No, ma'am.
Oh, not done. All right, students, let's just keep it till here only for today's class, and we'll continue in the next class, okay? We'll start from this question onwards. So you remember the question number. If I'll ask you, just tell me the question number and we'll continue, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay, I'll see you all in the next class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.